Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Hi, Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Hey guys, Bullhorn Betty here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We're discussing the case of Sebastian Rogers. He's a 15-year-old autistic boy when he disappeared on February 26, 2024, and he has not been seen by video. He hasn't been seen by a private citizen, and there has been no scent dogs to track his location, but we are told that he disappeared and last seen on February 26th. This child disappeared from inside an alleged locked home that has no signs of forced entry and no signs of him leaving the home. This tale started on February 26 when a call came in to the Sumner County non-emergency dispatch line around 6:33 in the morning. It was learned that Sebastian Rogers, an autistic and medically needy boy, seemingly walked out of his home and was never seen again. At least that's what we are led to believe. By February 27th in the afternoon, an Amber Alert was issued for Sebastian Rogers, alleging that there's a possibility of an abduction of this boy to have taken place. None of us were really clear at the time why this Amber Alert had surfaced, since they kept expressing that there was no possibility that led them to believe he was abducted. We fast forward to March 4th. March 4th was a critical and pivotal moment in this case, and that's when law enforcement decided to scale back their search efforts. This would have been communicated with the parents on March 3rd or before. On March 3rd, that was the first interview the mom and stepdad provided on a Duchess panel. On March 4th, they did their first mainstream media interview with WSMV. And both of those interviews were a little odd. We were unaware what had really transpired, and we were hanging on every word the mom and stepfather said. But there were some things that just didn't seem right. One of those things is their over-explanation of how he was not in trouble and how he had not been in trouble recently and how he had a good day and how they just are racking their brains and can't figure out why he would run away from home. Seth Rogers, the biological father of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, went to media and started expressing some concerns with the statements or the story that his ex-wife was providing. He just felt like something was off. By March 18th, on the Smiley's World interview and the subsequent interviews after that, such as Nancy Grace, it was clear that there was a meltdown between the family dynamic between the mom and stepfather and with Seth Rogers, the biological father. It seemed like the family unit that Chris and Katie were trying to proclaim was so great at the time of the son's disappearance has now have many public fractures in that facade. We still have no clue where Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is, but what we do know is Seth has done everything we as the public expect. He's been out there looking for his son since day one. He's provided us his alibi and the supporting documents to prove his alibi, and furthermore has done a polygraph test on the Nancy Grace show, which was publicly released, identifying that Seth Rogers passed his polygraph test. So where do we go from here? The leads lead where they lead. Let's go through some of the information. We were told that this child had no history of running away from home, yet woke up in the middle of the night one day after having an amazing weekend and took off with not even his shoes on. We learned from law enforcement that there is no scent and no video of Sebastian on it, and there have been no eyewitnesses coming forward that have seen Sebastian since the infamous video at the Texas Roadhouse Grill. We were also made to believe that his life was a very normal life, and then we learned that this mom and stepfather, while trying to conceal the information, have been trying to rehome this child as early as October 2022, and since moving into their home on Stafford Court, have had 5 CPS reports called against them from third parties such as teachers. We were told from the beginning that all parents were cooperative. They've all taken a polygraph test. They are all cleared by law enforcement. However, we learned the only person that had taken a polygraph test was Katie Proudfoot. Chris and Seth had never taken a polygraph test, and again, for months, he proclaimed he had been cleared and passed his polygraph test. The mom and stepdad also stated on many interviews they were doing everything they can. They were searching, they were posting flyers, they were putting up signs. However, their neighbors and their community stated that that was also a lie. They had not seen them. And when they questioned them about it, they got into their camper and took off. The mom and stepdad were seen eating out during search efforts. We're seen motorcycle shopping during a vigil, and we learned that they went to a motorcycle rally while law enforcement was still searching for their son. For many of us, these are very disturbing and problematic behaviors and actions from the mom and stepdad, which is what raises red flags in our eyes and in our minds. Nothing has been stated to resolve that issue. And lastly, I also find it very concerning that Seth has provided his alibi with supporting documentation. Katie has provided her alibi, whether we believe it or not, she has provided it. The one person that has never provided us one scintilla of information related to his alibi or where he was during the time of Sebastian's disappearance is Christopher Proudfoot, the stepfather of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, and he still proclaims to this day that law enforcement has specifically told him and him alone not to reveal his timeline. Again, that's not something that is typical. Typically, the person that's the furthest away, their alibi has no relevance to the case. So since his has relevance to the case, wouldn't that conclude that he is an integral part of the Sebastian Rogers case? Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channels on multiple platforms such as X, Instagram, Facebook, here on YouTube, and hopefully TikTok if it survives January 19th. I hope you all have an amazing day. God bless each and every one of you that's watching this video. What we do know as fact, however, is that Seth has been searching for his son ever since his son disappeared. Seth has publicly taken a polygraph. He has publicly produced his work records. This man has done everything he could possibly do, including working with the FBI, working with me to advocate for his son, calling on the national media, getting Nick the Hat and Dog the Bounty Hunter, and we're here with what from the mom and stepfather? Nothing for almost 10 months. Shoddy searches at best, working with an unscrupulous PI, felons, and including one searcher utilizing substances, illicit substances, while searching for their son. Good morning! Are you guys awake this Manic Monday? I don't know about me. It took me like 3 cups of coffee. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. She should be used to it by now. Good morning, everyone. Happy Manic Monday. We have a lot to cover today, a lot of information I think you guys are going to absolutely eat up and run with today. We're going to be talking about evidence, and we're talking about evidence, not eyewitness testimony, actual evidence of what law enforcement most likely has in the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And before we get started, I do want to say this to my beautiful sister. It is her birthday. Yes, I have. You just remember a couple weeks ago, me telling my sister happy birthday. I wasn't mistaken on that one. Now we have another one. This is a big shout out to Bullhorn Betty's little sissy Bullhorn. Happy birthday, baby girl. Sissy loves you. Sissy loves you. I wish I was there with you to give you a big old fat hug and a sloppy old kiss, baby girl.
Turn the doctor should you experience angina, smelly farts, eye bleeding, earwax, large boogers. Shut up.
Happy birthday, little sis. Happy birthday. I won't tell how old you are, okay? I won't tell how old you are.
That was bullshit.
All right. So Sissy's out of the way. It's nice to see you, Sissy. Happy birthday. I'm going to shut up now, okay? I'm still going to tease you. I'm still big Sissy. That's my job. I've said a lot of thank yous to the people that have come in. We're going to go scroll down. Hopefully I don't miss anybody. I saw Salty Ma'am. I see that you have something going on in your life, that thank God could have been worse, but is not. So we're definitely going to be saying a prayer and keeping our focus on prayers for the people that are struggling in our chat, as well as those that aren't struggling in silence, that come and tell us what's going on so we can pray directly for them and for the exact situation that they're going through. So we will be definitely saying some prayers for you, Salty Ma'am. I'm sorry, that must have been very, very, very unnerving for you. But we're here and just love you and just wish I could give you a hug. So yeah, absolutely, we can definitely say prayers for you and keep you in our thoughts. Good morning, everybody. For most of you, I've already said good morning. Crystal Pistol, good morning. Good morning. MTB, Joanne, it's nice to see you. Donna, Mitty, hello, hello. BMW Coop, Cynthia, it's nice to see you. Crazy Cat Lady, Janet, Blue Nick, it's nice to see you, my love. Mary's up in the house. Deanna's up in the house. Our beautiful YouTuber is kicking up a storm. No, I'm just joking. Grandma Pickle, it's nice to see you. Shining Star, good morning, love. Brown Eyed Girl's up in the house. Marla, good morning. Mama Bear, Lisa, Chaos, Bunny, I'm just going to say good morning, VA, because they always come in pairs. It's like shoes. It's like shoes. Angelina, good morning. It's nice to see you. Feel the love. Nano, it's nice to see you as well. Decor and more. Hey, love it. Love it. Nice to see you. Caroline, good morning. Don, it's nice to see you as well. Mickey Shell is up in the house. Elizabeth, good morning. SRK, it's nice to see you as well. Who else do we have? Nanny needs a Zanny. Good morning. Woke up still mad at our shepherd. That silly dog. I wake up with a cute little face. I never wake up in a bad mood anymore. The only time I wake up grumpy is like last night whenever I couldn't go back to sleep and she's bouncing off the wall and then starts whimpering because she needs to go out to the bathroom. At least that's what she tells me. I need to go to the bathroom. And then I take her out and then she just does this number all in the yard while the temperature is freaking freezing. And I'm like, Delilah, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Milk. Milk. You want some milk? Tweets. Tweets. Come on in, honey. Tweets. Let's get some tweets. She doesn't listen too well anymore. No, I'm just joking. Inga, it's nice to see you. Robin, good morning. True Crime Addict, it's nice to see you. Denise, good morning. Our beautiful Gypsy is up in the house. Good morning, Love Bug. Phil, good morning. Panda Bear's mom, it's nice to see you. Juicy Jello up in the house. Who else? Pamela, good morning. Good morning. Oh, thank you, Robin. Thank you so much. Who else do we have? I'm going through. I think I've got just about everyone. Oh, Justice Jane reminding us what it's all about. Missing 329 days in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Sebastian Rogers, autistic Caucasian, 16-year-old, 5'5", 120 pounds, brown hair. Last seen February 25th, 2024 with black long sleeve and black pants, barefoot. $250,000 reward. Thank you. And our beautiful Robin gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you are officially part of this insane asylum, please don't forget to tell Robin thank you. Thank you for making you go crazy. I'm just joking. That didn't sound right. Maria, West Virginia, Holigo, reach for the sky. Oh, it's nice to see you, love. Star, good morning, love. Hello. Angela, thank you for being here. Debbie is here. So police already know everything, yet not one arrest. Corruption. I don't like saying, well, we're going to talk about that. Kim G, it's nice to see you. There's VA. Yeah, zip it. My truck neither. I thought when I seen zip it, I thought you were going to say chaos zip tied you to your truck, which I can see happening. I'm just joking. Peek, it's nice to see you. Sweet Sativa, good morning. There you are, Shirley H. I wish I was saying earlier, I said, I wish I could have, because your background noise, we'll do phone later today. Or later in this show. It looks like we're going to be hitting our goal anyway. So we'll plan on it. Hopefully you can call in. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened, but whatever was behind or playing, like it was blaring on this end. And so I'm sorry. I wish I could have brought you up, but it was so distracting and so overpowering that I had to drop you. And I'm sorry about that. But hopefully you and Lisa B always will be able to call in today. Mally Cat, it's nice to see you. Teresa, good morning. Good morning. Regina, good morning. I think we just got just about everybody. If I've missed you coming in, whose birthday is it? I hear a happy birthday. I see happy birthday. Whose birthday is it? See, let me keep going up here. Oh, you guys are saying happy birthday to my sissy. Oh, yeah, that's so sweet. Yes, it is. It is her birthday. I would sing, but I'm not. She calls me up and she sings the cha-cha-cha version. On my birthday. Happy birthday to you, cha-cha-cha. Happy birthday to you, cha-cha-cha. I'm like, what in the world are you doing, girl? So happy birthday to Mini Bullhorn. That's what we'll call her, Mini Bullhorn, even though she's bigger than me. I'm telling you, I think she's like a foot, maybe even taller than me. I think she's 6 foot. Okay, I'm 5'3". And she towers over. I'm big sissy, but little sissy's bigger than big sissy. Is Seth Rogers in here? Good morning, Seth. If you're in here, I haven't seen you yet, but I see people saying hi. I must have went right over you. Carol loves embroidery and crime. It's nice to see you, Trina. Good morning. If anybody else is in the house that I haven't seen, good morning. Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. All right, guys, it's nice to see everybody here this morning, and we're going to be going over a lot. Before we get started, I'm going to read. I did another little poem, and this is kind of just how I see things from Seth's side. And so I labeled this A Father's Love. And so we're going to read this, and then we're going to dive into what evidence we've got. Beneath the stars in a quiet sky, a father's heart aches, asking why. Why the laughter faded, the days grew still. Why the world turned cold against his will. Sebastian, your name is a whispered prayer, a beacon of hope in the midnight air. Each breath your father takes is a vow to find you, save you. He's searching now. Through shattered woods and silent streets, through memories that his mind repeats, he walks with strength, though the path is steep, fueled by the promise his soul must keep. The world may falter, turn a blind eye, but your father's love will never die. For every tear, a flame burns bright, a relentless torch through the endless night. He sees your smile in the setting sun, hears your laughter where rivers run. In his dream, he holds you near and wakes each day to face the fear. But fear cannot quell the fire inside, the unshaken faith, the love undenied. Through every lie, each twisting tale, his mission stands, he will not fail. To the one who knows and hides away, your truth will dawn as night turns day. The weight you carry will crush the stone, for love and justice will bring him home. Sebastian, sweet boy, wherever you are, know your father's love shines like a star. Through storm and shadow, it lights the way until you're home in his arms to stay. So there's my little poem. Every now and again, we like to get a little creative here, and it's just something I felt inspired to do, so that's what we did. And I hope that is appreciative. Okay, so what evidence? Okay, many of you guys, we hear all the time, there's no evidence, there's no evidence, there's no eyewitnesses, there's no video, there's no this, there's no that. G's OP, right? G's OP. So how many other cases, high-profile cases, where there wasn't an eyewitness? I know one that's off the top of my head because I covered the entire case from front to back to every single court hearing to auctions to everything else. Where can we garner the information? How does Betty know so much? How can I look at a case, analyze a case, and kind of understand where we are in the case and what direction this is leading? Do I have some super secret powers that I possess? No, I'm a normal person, right? So how in the world, can I say, oh my gosh, this is leaning this way or this is leaning that way? Do you know how? Very simple. Repetition, right? We analyze a lot of cases, even cases that we don't bring here, because we're constantly, whenever we have a case, what do? Good morning, guys. We go and look at what other cases have this information. We research those cases, even though we're not talking about them. We are researching those cases to see what happened and what the outcome of these cases are. So if you really look at this, we probably analyze over the last 5 years, we probably analyzed hundreds of different cases associated with main cases that we're covering, because this sounds like this sounds like that. For example, somebody threw up in the chat that this sounded like Alex Batty, right? So we're constantly looking into those cases because we're wanting to see what information can we garner that could be applied to our case. So even though we're not actually covering the case, we're reviewing 4, 10, 20 different cases for every single one case that we cover, and sometimes more. That's how we learn these things. It's not that I just have this awesome brain that just, pulls stuff out and just, it's a toss of a coin, whether it's right or wrong, right? It's opinion, but it's saturated in a lot of research. And we always talk about that. Many of you guys see me online, maybe 2-3 hours a day, but you guys see me absolutely utterly exhausted. I'm talking about being here all day, sitting in front of this computer and doing nothing but research. Well, how could I be doing nothing but research if I'm just, online maybe 3 hours a day? Well, it's very easy. It's because for those preparations of those stories, and not only that, but those days that I go to my meetings with the county and stuff like that, where I'm not really watching anything. How do we come up with topics of conversation? They're not pulled out of our butt. It's because of all the work that we're constantly doing. We can come up with topics of conversation that quick in a pinch because we've done so much research on this case. Well, one of the tidbits of information is everybody's saying there's no eyewitness. We don't need a stupid eyewitness. As a matter of fact, historically, eyewitness testimony is skewed. You can have 10 people sitting in a line, elbow or shoulder to shoulder, 10 people, and they all watch the same event unfold. Do you know that you will have 10 different statements on what they analyzed or what they saw unfold? Right, because people by definition aren't perfect, and they observe things or internalize things or think of things that are different or a different mindset. For example, somebody might think a guy is 5'2" with brown hair, right? Another person says, no, that guy was 5'7" and he actually had blonde hair. So eyewitness testimony can be flawed. So what do law enforcement do this day and age, because we are technologically savvy? There is so much more evidence that's a lot stronger than eyewitness testimony, and we're going to get into that. As you guys saw on the thumbnail, what did you guys observe on my thumbnail? You observed Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and his rendering of him on a motorcycle with a dog, right? And what were the other two items that you saw on there? You saw a cell phone and you saw a vehicle. So let's get started on this information path, because without a doubt, the reason why we're seeing everybody so uptight on the mom and stepfather side, they're no longer talking about factual information. It's condemnation, it's mockery. It's because they have nothing to stand on, that they are just spinning out of control, and all they can do is just be vile people to the people that have it together, right? We have a good understanding of what happened in this case. We have a good understanding of what law enforcement has in the possession, custody, and control. How do we know that? Because not only do we study these cases, we use what they have and put them aside and put them in a toolbox. We say, okay, here's another tool that law enforcement is using. So how am I going to try to dovetail all of this in for you guys to understand it, right? Very easy. I go to Alec Murdaugh. Alec Murdaugh has been accused and convicted of a double homicide with his son and his wife. Now, remember, Alec Murdaugh said he was not there. There was no evidence, physical evidence showing that Alec Murdaugh was at the home at the time his wife and son were killed. There were no eyewitness testimony. There was nobody that saw anything. He just allegedly came home and they were gunned down by the dog kennels, and that was what we knew. He had not been out there. He's spoken to her earlier in the day, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Yet here we have a man that had no eyewitness watching him do this, convicted of a crime. How is that possible? Very, very easy. This day and age, our forensic data is more powerful inside a courtroom than eyewitness testimony. Let's start looking at the case of Alec Murdaugh. And I've got it set because that's one of the spots that I'm going to be coming back to. But until then, we are going to go back. Come on. We're going to go back to the beginning. I got two spots. I got the beginning, a few minutes in the beginning that I want you guys to hear. And then we have a few other, I don't want you sitting here for 2.5 hours watching a trial. We're not going to do that. So I've got certain spots in this video, in this 2.5 hour video, that we're going to go to. So don't worry, I'm not going to force this down your throat, but there are some definite information that is in here that everybody needs to understand. This is a court. If you don't know, not to be disrespectful, but this is a court. Okay. They are having a murder trial right here. Now, this is obviously pre-recorded. It was from 2023. And now we are here in 2025. What can we derive off of this information from Alec Murdaugh? Very simple. Forensic data. This is what law enforcement absolutely, without a doubt, possesses in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case for everybody. Not just the mom, not just the stepdad, and not just the father. We're talking about the movements of the step grandparents, the sisters, all of it. Okay? They track all of it because everybody's a suspect until they are eliminated or put further down on the list. I've always been told by law enforcement they never really remove anybody from the list until there's an arrest. That suspects never really get removed off the list. They're just put in a down in an order of most likely to least likely. They're never really quite removed or ever quite cleared. They're always just on the bottom of the list. That's the way detectives have told me here in Florida. Now, I don't talk to too many detectives in Tennessee, and I know our laws here in Florida are much different, or at least how our law enforcement handles the laws here in Florida are much different and a lot more strong and saturated in law and order than, say, Tennessee. So, obviously we're looking in a South Carolina court. But let's face it, Secret Service and the feds are federal agencies, and they would be conducting their research much the same as this. So I want you guys to hear this intro. We're going to talk about, I think we're going to listen to about 3 to 5 minutes of the beginning. Then we're going to go into the middle area, and there's 2 areas here I need you guys to listen to as well.
Special Agent Peter Rudofsky, that's Rudofski, and it's pronounced Rudolph and then Ski.
All right, Special Agent Rudofsky, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. If you would, tell the jury just a little bit about yourself. Give us a little quick history of where you grew up, where you went to school, and how you ultimately ended up with your current position.
I'm originally from Oakland County, Michigan.
We don't need to hear this.
This is a law enforcement division
Here.
where I am in public safety. In 2020, came to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division where I am currently. Began in the undercover vice unit, worked in the undercover vice unit until October of 22, where I currently am a special agent assigned to investigative services.
All right. And that was when again?
That was October of 22 is when I have my new position.
At some point in that position in SLED Investigative Services, did you get involved in the investigation of the murders of Maggie and Paul Murdoch at Moselle?
I did. November of 21 is when I was brought on to assist the Low Country region with this case.
November of 21 or November of 22?
21.
And let's talk a little bit more just about some of the experience you've had as a law enforcement officer. Have you had any experience with or had any training with using the FBI CAST program?
I did. I took a basic 16-hour cell site analysis course.
Okay, so now we're going to start dovetailing to some information that you guys need to understand and know about. Let me make sure I've got this up. Okay. So CAST is a context of cell phone data investigations, referred to as cell phone analysis survey team within the FBI, and their primary software for analyzing cell phone data is called CAST Viz, which is a free tool used by law enforcement to visualize and analyze cell phone or cellular records, including call details and tower data for investigative purposes, essentially allowing them to map out a person's phone activity based on cell tower connections. So I think that is super important for you guys to understand. Now, understand that this agent here is up. I just lost no sound. I'm sorry. As soon as I come back over, thank you for telling me that. Let me go back just about a minute. Sorry about that. It does that. Thank you, StreamYard, for once again failing us. Oh, good gracious. It won't let me go through different screens anymore. It's irritating and annoying, but we're going to have to keep doing it. So, because I've got a lot to present to you guys today. Yeah, when I popped over to Twitter, or to that Google thing, it dropped my sound. I'm sorry. I don't know why StreamYard can't function properly, but it doesn't. So I wanted to explain to you guys, we'll listen to it again. This man that's on the stand, he is a SLED agent. He's a SLED agent. That is comparable to TBI, okay? So if you guys want to know who these people are, the agent on here is a TBI. It would be a TBI agent in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case, okay? So just to give you a little context behind that. Sorry, I'm going to replay what you guys missed.
Using the FBI CAST program.
I took a basic 16-hour cell site analysis course, which allowed me to use their system CAST Viz, which is what if you saw Matt Wild's presentation, the mapping system and the plotting, it allows me to use that system and kind of do a basic level operation of it.
And what has been your primary focus of your involvement, at least in the investigation after you got involved in November 2021? And to be fair, that was November 2021. You were not working in investigative services when Moselle event happened in June of 21. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So when you came on in November of 21, what's kind of been one of your main focuses and main assignments?
The main focus was to take all of the various forms of data. There's, a lot of phones, a lot of different data, and take all of that and put it into a.
So what he's doing is he's taking all the phones. Okay. So all the phones. This is Maggie's phone, Paul's phone, Buster's phone, Alec Murdaugh's phone, his brother's phone, anybody he reached out to or anything, they're putting it into this information, into this CAST and deriving a timeline, if you will.
Readable timeline that you can start from, the beginning of the day to the end of the day and see everything with all those different phones and different, media sources all in one document.
All in one document. Now we're going to run over here to 45. Now that you guys got an understanding of that, this is going to be a little bit more involved. And then we're going to get into how does this or could this apply to, because we've already heard some leakage, right? We've already heard some leakage from,
Dentists hate when you do this, but they can't stop you.
What's going on here?
This new $100 dental device,
something
Face
happened
that.
to my my Premiere. I'm gonna have to go and figure out what's going on with my Premiere, because I should not have any type of advertisements in anything I'm doing here, because I'm on the right. Am I on the right? Am I on the right? Hold on a second. Let me make sure I'm on. Yeah, I'm on. Oh, that's why. Hold on here. Let me change my. Let me switch. Let me pull this back. Let me switch my account here. I'm on the wrong account. That's why. Hold on. Sorry about that. I forgot. You guys, listen to this. You guys remember back when I was setting up crime stories? What was it? It was Dad burn it. Many of you guys weren't here with me when I first started, but I tried to have my hand at a new channel, and this was when the haters. Sorry about that. This is when the hate channels. Oh, thank you, Most Evil. What does it say? SF always says suspicious things on missing persons case. He did the same thing on Kylie Rodney's case. Always seems to give false information. He absolutely does. He absolutely does. I got no, but you know what? When it comes to him, we're going to be at Lore Lodge. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm interested in hearing, because Lore Lodge is so well versed in this case. He is going to have Sebastian SF on the panel. He's going to have him on the panel tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Lore Lodge. Please, guys, go over to the Lore Lodge, and I'm pretty sure it might be set up by now. I'm not, 100. I'm not 100, but absolutely might be set up at this point. Okay, so I've got this up. I'm sorry for the advertisements. I didn't realize, getting back to what I was saying, I originally had a Bullhorn Betty crime stories, not the crime stories that we have now, but somebody had went in there and did something to that account, and it was revoked by Google. Well, Google just reinstated it, so that's what it was on. That's why we had commercials. So I apologize. But with this one here, I want you guys to see, they even have his records of his dots. You see those dots? That's his path of travel. That is Alec Murdaugh's path of travel. They do have these things. This has been tracked for Katie as well as Chris and Seth Rogers. Law enforcement knows exactly where these people were, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about whether these people have been tracked. This is the information that I believe is going to be the most critical in the Sebastian Rogers case when it comes to his mom and stepfather. So let's get here. Let's learn a little bit more about these types of extractions related to the cell phone and other information. We are tracked. We talk about it on this channel all the time. If you guys want to know what law enforcement has related to the mom, dad, and stepfather, you are going to want to stay here and participate in this live, because this is the facts of the case. Now, are they going to be the same details? Of course not. One's from a murder of a son and a wife. This is a disappearance of a child. Much different locations. So we're going to have different types of maps and information. But this here is what they have on the parents.
It's just another database that was, records were provided to me from. We also have a PMPED building access log. And then in the big timeline, we have the 911 recordings. And then just want to point out a Dylan Hightower extraction. That would have been the first phone extraction of Alex's phone 2 days after the 7th.
Yeah.
And then we have the GM OnStar data.
Now, remember, what did we learn from normal information related to this case? We learned that all the cell phones were collected. Do you guys remember that? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember law enforcement or one or all of the parents talking about how law enforcement took their phones, right? They don't need to keep their phones, which is odd that some of the phones are products have not been returned because they don't need them. Once they download them, they're downloaded, right? And then they order records by warrant or subpoena from the carrier to find out if they match what they downloaded from the phone. If there's any discrepancies, they are going to start honing in on those discrepancies. Why was this deleted? Why was this removed from the device? So you guys all remember that. So this is what they have right here. You guys don't want to miss this because this is going to break down all the extractions, how it's done.
Okay. All right, and then down at the bottom here, we have some color-coded things on the left of the screen and then a box on the right. So quickly explain to the jury what those reference points mean, please.
On the right of the screen, you're going to see the 2021 Suburban log file excerpt. Farkowski from FBI had that Excel sheet with all the different colors and everything. This is going to be a reference guide, so when you're going through this, what the colors actually mean on the data.
Right,
and
give
then
an example what you mean by that.
So you're going to see kind of that reddish, pinkish color. That's going to.
So these are all, one's Maggie's phone, one's they show the property of 4147 Moselle. They've got the home of Varnville. I don't know which family member lives in Varnville, but all these different things are properties, homes, and then they're going to dovetail into there. Let me get to a different area that I wanted you guys to see, which is right here.
1 second. Day. Timeline begins roughly when?
Around 6 p.m.
All right, on what day?
Okay, so this is a log, okay? This is something behind the scenes that they already have prepared in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. And I want you guys to listen to this because they have all of this logged. And this is coming from several different sources. Okay, this is coming from either Paul's phone, Buster's phone, Maggie's phone, Alex's phone, his brother's phone, his mother's, everybody's phone is logged. All their statements are here. Let's listen to what they denote from all of this.
June 7th, 2021.
All right, and let's start at 6:04. And I want to move through this expeditiously, and we'll stop and talk about some specific entries as we go through. Okay.
Okay, we don't
All
need
right,
to go through
and
this.
so starting there at 6:04, does Paul Murdoch have any phone activity?
He does. He calls Will Loving. And as you can see in the parentheses, it's going to say PM extraction. That means it was pulled off of Paul Murdaugh's phone extraction, just for reference.
All right, and Will Loving, that's the individual that testified weeks ago.
That is correct.
And 6:08, what activity we see on Paul's phone?
He makes an outgoing call to Dad, which is identified as Alex Murdaugh. It shows answered, but 1 second long.
Okay.
Another message from Maggie to Paul Murdoch.
This is also going to be a iMessage to Paul stating, "Love you," and Blanca cooked you dinner.
Moving on to page 3.
This is going to be interesting.
And what does this reflect right here?
This is going to be from FBI agent Matt Wild. This is going to be from his report. This is for Paul Murdaugh. You're going to identify that on the right-hand corner where it says Paul. Just for reference, anytime you see a map, if you look on the right-hand corner, it's going to tell you whose map that is for.
Okay, so this one tells you Paul's cell phone number and that this is related to Paul's data. And what you see here, these are cell towers, okay? And this actually tracks where Paul was in those cell towers during that day. Very interesting stuff. Still not exactly where I'm going with this, so just bear with me. We're still going to walk through this.
Right after that, at 6:21:28, Maggie Murdaugh sends a text message to Marion stating, "Can't talk, getting food, massage, we'll call you back." That was from her phone extraction.
Moving on to 6:23, are there any communications with Maggie and Paul?
Okay, now we're
There
going
are.
to move
Paul sends a message to his mom at 6:23:27.
to here.
Communication according to the status.
That is correct.
All right.
I'm gonna get past
Bottom of
this.
page 9.
We did
Sorry, there's some more.
7:35:10 and 7:41:43. It shows roughly around 171 Paul Murdaugh's phone. And we have a little screenshot of the creation time.
You guys see this? This is what the nail in the coffin for Alec Murdaugh was right here. This right here was the nail in the coffin for Alec Murdaugh. And why do I say that? Because he stated he had not seen his son. And here he is dealing with a tree on his son's phone. And they also have his voice literally minutes before Maggie and Paul were deceased. This was not from an eyewitness. This was strictly from their cell phones, their watches, and their automobiles. And this right here is what convicted Alec Murdaugh to 2 life sentences. Law enforcement in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case already has this information. It's already been plugged in to the cast. How do I know? Because I understand their processes and procedures. This is a working document. From the minute that they start on this to the resolution of this case, this document here will be constantly updated throughout this entire investigation. So let's keep listening, because this right here, we're going to move on and we're going to talk about some of the products that law enforcement does have at their disposal. And we're going to look at the history that has where we've come to where this data is very, very crucial and critical. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Shell Bell from Oz, thank you, BHB. Do you think if Dog's team could capture the satellite pics at the Proudfoots and Bowersock's home in the days preceding Sebastian's disappearance, that it's also likely they had them from the morning of his disappearance? Yes. Yes, I do believe that they would have those. The images that they do have are quite concerning. We will go over, I don't have them pulled up right at the moment, but we will go over those updates shortly. And thank you so much for that gracious contribution. It looks like we will be opening up the phone lines. We'll be doing the mule video, the karma video, followed by our phones being opened up for 30 minutes. And if you guys can, please keep your commentary to about 5 minutes. I really don't like interrupting you, but I got to get, as the phones start being utilized more by audience, we're going to have to limit some of the conversations down to 3 to 5 minutes. If they're not ringing, I don't care how long you talk, but I turn the phones off so we don't hear them ringing while you're talking. So I've got to kind of limit that to 3 to 5 minutes so we can open the phones back up. But thank you. Thank you guys so very, very much.
It's going to show 7:39:55 is when this thumbnail was created in Paul's phone.
And remind the jury what video that is. I say we got a thumbnail there, but
Yep.
what video is that?
This is going to be that Snapchat video that was sent to a few friends of the tree. You have Alex Murdaugh on the tree that's leaning over.
Now, mind you, Alec told everybody he was not in this area at all. So this was the first time they were able to chink at that lie that he stated, that he was not in this area, was not at. Now, there's more damaging evidence that came about from this analysis of the phone, but this was the first when that facade started fracturing and breaking apart for Alec Murdaugh. And it's because of this cell phone data of all the people involved in being compiled into one working document.
All right. And again, this is when that video, at least the timestamp, was its creation.
That's correct, based on previous testimony, yes.
All right. 7:41 to 7:48. What, if anything, is reflected on Alex's phone?
We show that 29 steps were traveled on his phone, approximately between 7.
Oh, let's listen to that. Hold on. What is this? This is now the crux of our conversation we're getting to right at this moment. Listen to this. Let's go back. Going back 10 seconds.
To 7:48. What, if anything, is reflected on Alex's phone?
We show that 29 steps were traveled on his phone.
29 steps. Wrong one. I hit the wrong button. You guys are just going to have to wait until it goes out. So what does this mean? Okay, now it's time to bring it back to reality. How does all this apply to the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case, right? How does it apply? Because we are told, listen to this. We are told that the mom was on the couch, right? Sebastian went to bed at 9. Let's go through the steps, what we learned from the mom. Now, I don't believe the mom further than I can throw her. But the bottom line is this is going to be critical and crucial. And I do believe that this is going to be the nail in the coffin for the mom and stepfather, because again, no eyewitnesses. We don't need eyewitnesses. That's why everybody keeps saying circumstantial evidence, This is circumstantial evidence, and it's more powerful than an eyewitness testimony. I want that to sink in. This is circumstantial evidence that is more powerful than eyewitness testimony. So how would this apply? So mom states that from 10 p.m. or from 9 p.m. to midnight, she was stationary on a couch, right? Stationary on a couch. And the only time she got up to go to bed was when her husband woke her up and told her, put the dogs away and go to bed, right? How odd would it be if you're telling law enforcement that you're in bed asleep, yet inside your home, your phone is moving all over the place? Because yes, they've got that information. You move your phone, you take it, you walk to the bathroom, it's cataloging your steps. Did you know that? If you take it from your bedroom out to the living room, it's logging your steps without even being turned on. In my opinion, this case could have been solved a long time ago if LE would not have handled the case as a runaway and drilled KK and Edgar by their different stories. I'm sure they had to get, a lot of this has to do with timing of information. Again, my biggest thing, it's not about their investigative work on this case. It's about their initial handling of this case up front, the first 3 days, the 72 hours. The first 48 are the most critical in any investigation. And I feel like they squandered that initial 48 hours. Now, I don't know that. It's just a hunch. It's my opinion. It's not fact. The fact is that they were running this case as a runaway, but not even handling the runaway case, in my opinion, properly. Because again, according to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which TBI should be well-versed in, the CART team should be well-versed in, you turn a home into a crime scene immediately. You make sure that people aren't contaminating inside the house, outside the house, or in that child's bedroom. And those are the most critical for me. Okay. Their investigation after that, I'm sure, was top-notch. But my qualm is not there. My qualm is the first 3 days. The handling they did the first 3 days. Did they bring out all the people? Yes, they did that spectacularly. Now, it was from everything and all the work I've done and I've seen done, especially with these searches and stuff, I feel like it could have been more organized. I think they did very well, not having a case like this before and being able to rally the troops that quickly. You know, when you're working like this, you're going to drop the ball. So I expect mistakes to happen when law enforcement's working like this. I don't blame them for that, because it is just that it's the nature of the beast. Okay. But failing to adhere to critical guidelines set out by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, which is the gold standard for our investigations of these cases, I feel like they fell a little short. They have room for improvement, and I pray that it doesn't jeopardize the case in the future, and I'm hoping it doesn't. The problem we all have is that we don't really know if Sebastian went missing on the 25th or the 26th, and where he went missing from, because all we have is what KK has said. And that is true, but we do have some key little indicators that help guide us. And some people look at those indicators and some people avoid those indicators. The indicators to me tell me he made it home. A lot of people, at least 1/3 of my chat, does not believe he made it home. So yeah, in our opinion, this could be skewed. Do I think he went missing on the 26th? I think I do believe he left the home between midnight and 6 a.m. So I do believe technically he went missing on the 26th, but that's an assumption that we have to base that on. What we have as fact, though, not assumption based, but fact based, is that nobody has seen this child since the 25th around 6:25, 6:26 at night, when he was seen loading up into his mother's car and driving away out of the camera's view. That is the factual times that we've seen, the time that we've seen Sebastian. Anything after that point to the public is speculation, because right now we have conflicting statements from law enforcement, right? We have two documents. I believe it's the Sumner County as well as TBI, or maybe it's TBI and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the actual Amber Alert. I think that there's two conflicting documents that state he was last seen on the 26th, but the location of where he was last seen was different. Now on NamUs, which is the Department of Justice missing person database, they list him as missing as of February 25th, last seen February 25th. Because we have the conflicting statement, and what is the conflicting statement from law enforcement? TBI as well as Sumner County have told us this child disappeared on February 26th. However, they've also told us religiously that there's no videos, there's no dog scent, and there's no eyewitnesses seeing this child. So if we have no video, no eyewitness, and no dog scent of this child disappearing on the 26th, how can we state this child disappeared on the 26th? Okay. Now, law enforcement may know why they're listing the 26th, but we as the public do not. So we have to go off of the factual information that we have. And that is also supported by the Department of Justice flyer for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, identifying February 25th. You guys can go to NamUs. It's NAMUS. I can't remember if it's .gov or .org, but you can just type in NamUs, NAMUS, and when you get the search, just write Sebastian Rogers in there, and you can pull up the Department of Justice flyer for him and read it for yourself. It says February 25th. That's why I take the February 25th time frame. But we have the steps. This is the important thing. We may not know what they are, but let me just put this into your mind, because I want it into the mind of everybody, especially those with guilty conscience. Even when nobody was looking, they know exactly what you were doing. Even though nobody was looking, they know exactly what they were doing. Why? Because they were monitoring their steps. They were monitoring every time their phone moved. If you are dead asleep in bed, there's no reason for your phone to move. Would you guys agree with that? If you agree with that, put a 1 in the chat. If you disagree with that, put a 2 in the chat and why you disagree. So, for example, if you're sleeping and your phone is next to you and you're in a house by yourself, should that phone ever move while you're sleeping? This goes for CP as well, right? If he's when he picked up that phone call and answered that phone call from Katie, that phone recorded the exact location Chris was at when he answered that phone call. Many people asked at the beginning of this case when Chris was communicating with people, those screenshots got put on social media, right? And those screenshots, basically somebody was arguing with him. Was your phone still the entire time, or did it move about as you spoke to Katie? He refused to answer that question. He refused to answer that question. Now, if we were to apply that, I believe, because I believe who I believe did something to Sebastian, whether it was a custody or something more nefarious, a custody issue, rehoming, putting him in a program, whatever people want to fantasize may or may not have happened to this child, whatever the case is. If you're sleeping, there should be no movement in your home. There should be no movement of your cell phone. There should be no movement of your vehicle. There should be no steps being triggered on your phone. You don't even have to. Do you know that every time you do this and put your phone in this right here, it records that. It records that the phone was moved. When I get up here and walk to the coffee pot with my phone in my hand, it's calculating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 steps to my coffee pot. And it's calculating 11 steps back to my chair. If I was under complete investigation and the FBI and the Secret Service were at my crawl, they would be able to identify my exact whereabouts at any disclosed time just by my cell phone. And my cell phone's I'm not even talking on it. I'm not even having a conversation. I'm just carrying this over to the coffee pot. I'm watching X. I'm watching Bullhorn Betty on YouTube while I'm getting my coffee. My phone is tracking my steps inside my home. If the law enforcement grabbed my cell phone data, they would be able to follow me they would know when my potty breaks were, right? Because we know we all take the phones in the bathroom, whether we admit it or not. Don't lie. Don't lie. I see ya. So law enforcement even knows when you go to the bathroom if they were looking into you. Now, granted, all this stuff is private to you, your phone, and your items until they have a search warrant or a subpoena for the information. Okay? But once they get that subpoena for the information, say like in a criminal investigation, they know exactly where you were. And even when they don't know where you are, they know exactly how many steps you take. So that's going to be kind of hard to explain to law enforcement. Well, I was in bed at 12. Oh, you were. Can you explain to me why you got 1,200 steps in the half hour after you went to bed? Can you tell us why your phone moved around the house so many times? Can you tell me why your mother-in-law's phone was in the area at the time? You know, this is what it has. They can activate microphones, but to be honest with you, there's a lot more involved into wiretapping than you might think. You got to go through, it's difficult. I mean, you have to have a just cause for wiretapping in America. And yes, it does happen, and law enforcement are able to meet that threshold and get wiretapping warrants all the time, especially in criminal investigations. It makes you wonder how in depth they did. But I absolutely believe this. So let's listen to a little bit more about this, because I really do believe it's going to be, and I've said this from the beginning, it's going to be the digital footprint of these people that are going to be the nail in their coffin. Because this was the nail in the coffin of Alec Murdaugh. Double homicide conviction. No eyewitness whatsoever. They convicted him by the circumstantial forensic data evidence. Very important. Very important.
Approximately between 7:41 and 7:40 7:48.
All right. And just talked about the Snapchat video. Looking at this map, whose phone is this? And explain these data points to the jury, if you would, please. Or whose phone is this first, if you would, please?
So this is going to be Paul Murdaugh's iPhone, and below it, it's going to be his iPhone location data. So this is not going to be Verizon location. This is going to be location data directly off of his phone.
So this is GPS data that's more specific.
That is correct.
All right. And we see.
Okay, GPS data. I'm not going to take you over because I don't want this to kick the volume again. So GPS tracking allows law enforcement to track the movements of a person by accessing the location data stored on their phone. This information can provide valuable evidence in criminal investigations.
A number of dots up here. What is this area up here generally sort of in the center of this image?
That's going to be the kennel area, and then there's that little house,
The cabin.
the cabin.
All right. And what time periods in that upper box do we see GPS data on Paul's phone up there in the kennel cabin area?
We're seeing between 7:45 and 7:54 is location data.
9 minutes. They were able to capture 9 minutes of this data.
For that area.
754, 756.
7:56, sorry, it's kind of hard to see.
This is going to
Is
be
the data point, what's the time on that data point up there?
I believe it says 8:06:20 p.m.
All right. And then we see the dots sort of moving down. And in what direction are they generally moving?
That's moving towards the main house on the property.
All right. And then down at the bottom.
They have his steps from the kennel. This is Paul Murdaugh, rather. They have his exact steps and coordinations from the time he was at the dog kennels to the time he went back to the house. His coordinated steps, they're tracking them on here. This is how important this forensic data is. So do I believe law enforcement has a lot more information than we know or possess? Hey, Sonia. It's nice to see you, love bug. The answer is yes. There is no eyewitnesses in this case with Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We definitely know something is not right when it comes to this case at all. So I'm going to leave it there because we do have the phones being opened. Let me get my phones open. Hopefully it doesn't foul up on me when I convert it over. Okay, so it didn't drop my mic, thank God. Okay, we're still doing good, guys. So I gotta check. Okay, so we're going to be opening up the phone lines, but before we open up the phone lines, I promised you we would have a couple videos. You may like them, you may not. If you are a preacher, if you are religious, if you do not like cuss words, okay, if you do not like cuss words, you might want to mute. We are going to, I think we're going to do karma, then the mule. So without further ado, before we open up the phone lines.
Let me tell y'all something. You ain't got to ever worry about getting nobody back for some shit they done did to you. Because quiet as it's kept, everybody working get paid. Let me break that down so you understand what I mean. Everybody working getting paid. See, some of you motherfuckers don't even know that you're working. But payday comes after a while, bitch. You being messy? You're working. You gossiping about people? You're working. You stealing, lying, cheating, or just all around doing some fuck shit? You're working. And payday is on its motherfucking way. Ha ha! Let me tell you something, you working motherfuckers. Some of you bitches got overtime in that bitch too. Woo, that payout gonna be good. So when you get your check, bitch, don't complain. You worked for it.
Andrea, aka Bullhorn Betty here. Look what I found. It looks like a lot of people on YouTube. Right here. Right here. This is a real ass right here. Like many people on YouTube. All you need to do is show an asshole a little love. Right? Right? Tell him. What you need to do? What you need to do? Huh? What you need to do? Oh, too many assholes on YouTube. Say it. Say it with me, baby. Say there's just too many people. Too many people on YouTube that look like you, huh? So the next time you want to be an ass, maybe you should come out here and hang out with the ass. Just saying. You want to be a jackass? There's your brother. Peace out. Bullhorn Betty style. Oh, Betty, Betty, Betty. Oh, Betty. What? Is it past my hour? Yeah, we're going to go to 2 hours. You guys don't see this little munchkin behind me. She's right here. She's over my shoulder. You want to say hi to everybody? You want to say hi? Come here. Say hi. Say hi. Say, we're going to do the phone lines, but I wanted to come and say hi to you guys. I was up on my mommy's back to say hi to you guys, but you couldn't see my face because of her green screen settings. Get that baby. Say, I'm baby Delilah. I love you guys. My mommy loves me too much. My mommy loves me too much. Okay, so here is the phone line. If you guys could, I'm not going to tell you what to do, what not to do, but if you guys could, I would like 2 people to be able to call in before. I mean, you guys were more than welcome, whoever calls in. It's 724-252-8070. But I would like to hear, Shirley was unable to join us yesterday. And then, of course, Lisa B. always. I'd like to hear from them as well. This is Betty. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hi, Betty. This is Shirley H. How are you?
Oh, Shirley, I'm so sorry. We tried to get you up on the screen yesterday. The audio was just, it was glaring.
I don't know if it was the audio, but Colorado's had a real major snowstorm. We have been snowing since Friday afternoon, and it's still snowing today. So it could have been just my internet and all the noise in the from the weather.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to get this off my mind. I am sorry. This whole case has been handled wrong. This case is not very hard to figure out. We have a stepdad and we have a mom that has changed their story so many times that we don't even know what to believe anymore. Certain words trigger stepdad, like mom,
is truck
like
being in the area?
Mom, truck, crane. I mean, certain things just set this man off. I do believe that, I don't want to get you in any trouble, but I believe that mom and stepdad know exactly what happened. And I believe somebody is covering up for them. Maybe it's that, what's his noodle's name? The one that PI, supposedly PI guy. But somebody is covering up for him. Because there is no way this case should have took this long to solve. They handled it wrong for a runaway. Okay, yeah, maybe 12-hour runaway. Okay, we'll give them that. But not 24 to 72 hours.
I agree.
And then you have, I keep everybody saying, oh, well, his shoes were at home. His shoes were at home. Okay, do you know how easy it is to stage a home? You can take his shoes off, put them right there where the rest of them are, hook his phone up, set it on the counter, hook his game system up on a charger, and leave it where he left it. We don't know if that's where he left his game charger or his cell phone. We're just going by what Mom said.
Exactly. But his dad said he does not leave his phone. He always leaves it charged up so he could talk to his dad. He said he's very good about keeping his phone charged and keeping it with him, which was a polar opposite from what we heard from his mother and stepfather, where they said he hardly ever uses it. That's not what.
That's what he said. We got two. I mean, we got this father, Seth, and my heart hurts for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's out here doing everything he can to find his son. He has taken battles with some health issues, and he still hasn't gave up. And then we got this mother, well, egg donor. That's what I'm going to call her because I have never seen a mother act like this. Pleading the fifth, letting this numbnuts talk for her, do all the talking. I'm sorry, I couldn't come up with a better word. And then we got this other dingle doors over here making videos and harassing people. Now we got more threats going to at night. And it seems like every time somebody gets close to breaking this case, threats.
Yeah, because let's face it, and where are the threats coming from? Why is it always against the people that are working with Seth, the innocent father that has proven that he has nothing to do with his son's disappearance? I don't care if he was the worst father in the world prior to his son disappearing. If he had nothing to do with it, he had nothing to do with it. Why are we not focusing on the people that have motives, means, and opportunity? That's my question.
And then that's my question too. Why hasn't Ellie, and I don't care if it's LE, TBI, CBI, I don't care what letter of the alphabet it is. Somebody needs to come out and do a presser and knock all these rumors out that this PI is putting out and these hate channels, because it is really disgusting. Mm-hmm. It really is. And Mr. Numbnuts, he needs to either come out with the truth or go sit in the corner and shut his lips. Because
he won't even tell us where the heck he was. He was 3.5 hours away. Swears he hadn't been home since the beginning or the end of January. And the man won't even tell us where the heck he was. Was he in his camper? Was he on the job? What was he doing? I mean, you know?
I believe that he was in the area. He was either at the home when they got home from Texas Roadhouse, or he was at his mommy dearest house.
Well, we did see what appeared to be a truck that appears to be a lot like CP's sitting in the driveway of his mom's house that Friday around 10:30 in the morning. And we're learning yesterday that it's been corroborated that he had a 4-day weekend, allegedly, that he was off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and didn't return back to work until that Monday.
And that brought up another thing. He said in that Nancy Grace video that he didn't know if he had a job or not. But then you go take your wife that has a child missing and you go back to the same campground and tell, oh, I came back because I'm going back to work. Now, which is it? Do you have a job or do you not have a job? You can't have it either way.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Final words, Miss Shirley. We got 2 calls coming in.
Okay. My final word is Ellie needs to start making arrests. Make arrests. Stop all this. Start putting people in jail and these threats will go.
Yeah. I agree with that. Thank you so much, Shirley. Love you, my babe.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, Miss Betty, who's this and where are you calling from?
Hi, Betty.
Hey.
Hi, this is Louise. I don't know if you've been hearing from me, but you did mention one of my videos I sent you a couple days ago. Okay, so the reason why I'm calling today is because I watched another lady. I started watching her a couple of days ago. I don't know if we're allowed to say other creators on your channel or not.
Depending on who, you can go ahead and say it. Whatever, it doesn't really bother me.
Okay, her name. Well, I don't know her name, but her channel name is C as in cat, NY.
Oh yeah, CNY family. I've reviewed some of their stuff. I'm actually welcoming them aboard, for helping and reviewing the Sebastian Rogers case. They seem like they're here to help.
Yes, because she's actually one of the ones that called the tip about the older truck and the fifth wheel, and heard the conversation with the wooden box.
Gotcha.
And so this morning she did a video talking about rehoming. And how it's not illegal.
Give me a
in
little
Tennessee.
context about, like a Reader's Digest version of what that one was about.
Basically, the parents are allowed to rehome their kids in some of these states. Ohio and Tennessee are one of them without being charged or have to go through an adoption agency.
Gotcha.
There's no follow-up because these people don't get background checks. They produce fake paperwork saying they're approved to be foster parents or whatever the case may be, and they're allowed to give away their kids, just like that. No questions asked.
Well, then, if it's that easy in Tennessee, I guess there were other remedies available to them than this.
Yeah, but she did put all the postings for all the articles and news articles that were put out there with Ohio and Tennessee. So if I'm guessing this is why law enforcement has not arrested the parents and step parents yet, because the worst case scenario, unless they have more evidence, is they can get in trouble for false reporting or the CPS case that's still open.
Yeah. What do you think the path forward today would be for law enforcement, or what do you think should happen from this point forward?
I think they need to verify what they meant on what he was seen on the 26th, because also CNY put up a news report that came out 24 hours after he was reported missing, saying that he was seen walking out of the house at midnight.
Yeah, nobody saw him because we confirmed that. Law enforcement said there's no videos, there's no eyewitness, there's no scent.
Yep.
I mean, but he left on the 26th. So what? How do you know if there's no verifiable information? That's what they're telling us. There's no verifiable information. He left, but he left on the 26th.
Yeah, and where did this reporter get this information that he was seen leaving the day after that she did this report? So it's all on her. She did the links and everything, but I was told we can't share links on here. So I was like, just go see CNY channel, and it's mind blowing to me.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about the rehoming thing.
Well, Louise, what are your final thoughts on? Let me ask you this before I get to your final thoughts. Do you think this information that I showed today related to Alec Murdaugh's, his steps, we didn't go in depth with anything, but do you think that was understandable for people of what law enforcement most likely has for Sebastian's case?
100%, because I was going into law. I just didn't go into I didn't get my bachelor's to go further, but I was going into law enforcement and getting into probation. But everything that we do on our phones is tracked.
Yeah.
And the Murdaugh case is a good example how circumstantial evidence was able to find him guilty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I believe 100% they have the evidence, but they just don't have the track of where Sebastian went from there.
Yeah. And not only that, but it's because there was the reason why I grabbed Alec Murdaugh, it's not because I know the case fluently. It's because it's a case that really, it was the data, the forensic data that convicted him.
Yep. And I appreciate you, Betty, because you taught me a lot more than my law classes had.
Aw, thank you. Well, God bless you, Louise.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, final words. Any final statements?
Just keep spreading the truth. That's all I can say for Seth's sake. Keep spreading the truth so we can put more pressure on Ellie to start moving this case forward and find him.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, I'm turning the phones on. I wanted to say, 'cause I didn't see it earlier, I just wanted to say good morning to It's Me, Jen, and Pebbles. I just want to let you guys know, I know there's been some back and forth. If there's foul language sometimes, and I've got block letters and stuff that if you guys have words in your certain words in your posts, it automatically takes them. My mods aren't removing them. If you hit one of those block words, it'll either not let you post it, or it appears that it posts and it doesn't post. So I use block words. I use a lot of stuff to control my chat so it doesn't get out of control. So if you guys are seeing that, please be careful not to blame the mods for that. It's just the way my system's set up. This is Betty. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hi, love. This is Pam T. of Michigan.
Oh, nice to see you, Pam T. How? What's going on with the Sebastian Rogers case? What do you think?
Well, I'll make it quick because I'm hoping to hear from other callers. What do you think about the P-foot neighbor who's a cop? He didn't have Pong said on Twitter that he didn't have any cameras, but he was knocking on churches' car windows.
The officer was?
What do you think of that?
The officer was knocking on people's windows?
Yes, I sent you an email.
Oh, I'll have to look at the email, but I can tell you that's a good way for an off-duty officer to get pepper sprayed.
Right,
I'm sorry,
right.
but I like I said, people that I'm very, because of how crazy my life is. I mean, granted that's around there, but it makes me concerned, especially depending on how friendly CP is with this officer. I would be very concerned. Now, if it's a retired officer, we don't know much about him, do we?
Well, he had awards, but I'm questioning because you were arrested and there's another detective involved. There's some bad cops, in that area, supposedly. Did Chris Profoot, did he contact his neighbor cop?
I know that there was something behind the scenes that he was concocting. I don't know with who.
Yeah. Okay, it's in question, but I just wondered what you think of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to forget this because it's his neighbor, and there was no cameras, and that's where they went. Allegedly, they went. That's where they took the P-foots went at 3:00 in the morning, but in their backyard, and went out to that vehicle, according to the light video. So I'm questioning this cop. Are they investigating the cop?
I'm sure
That's my question. I hope.
Yeah, I'm probably sure that they looked into and questioned what he may know, especially with him being a neighbor.
Yeah.
I don't believe a cop would have a home without some type of security. But
that's what he said. That's what the tweeter said. You have to check it out. I think it's very important. As a key evidence. And also, Bob Crew last night, he couldn't get into too much. He had a members only after last night, but he thinks he had a little clue about that car, because that supposed FF supposedly blocked off part of that car.
Yeah.
But he has a little clue, but he said he had to inform the police enforcement or FBI, whoever, and then he'll let us know sometime this week.
Yeah.
So that's something else that our team should keep an eye on. But
Yeah.
I'll let you go, sweetheart. But I thought check out these tweeters. Even your ex-boyfriend, he even has something on his Twitter with his weird picture on there too, that he still thinks they're guilty.
Yeah. Well, I worry about law enforcement, about the buddy, because we definitely know that Chris had some friends in the law enforcement, and I think they were guiding him, which I'm I frown upon, because when you're a law enforcement officer, it shouldn't be about protecting a bad person or a perceived bad person, or at least until you know it. It should be about factual information. Is there something to see over here? And I think if a law enforcement person has been in law enforcement for a long time, they should have gut instincts. We have gut instincts, and our instincts aren't honed or saturated in law enforcement like police officers and sheriff deputies are.
Right. And so I hope there people get on the police force to investigate this officer. I know he had marital problems also. It's the house that was going to be sold. They're going to sell it, but they had to stop it because some divorce thing or something, rumors going around about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm keeping my right in the back of my mind that is something that I'm watching because something's not right about that also.
Yeah.
Of the investigation. And for your case too.
Yeah.
You know, is he the have anything to do with your case?
That's a good question. I guess that'll all come out, you know, with the proceeding of my case. But with my case is cut and dry. I mean, it really is cut and dry. So it really depends on whether the courts are going to follow the law or not. And if they don't, we just move it on. I mean, it's going to cost an arm and a leg, but you know, thank God I've got assets, you know, so it is what it is. I mean, I'm fighting.
You have to, you know, and you stand up for Nina, you know, it's like, you know, Nina didn't do nothing, you know, bless her heart, you know, I mean, she's trying to struggle to make a living like all of us, and we have children, you know, we have to keep our children safe.
Yeah.
Not like what Katie did. She was just thinking of herself. And one more thing. How about that lady from Texas that was handing papers to CP?
Well, she's going to have some of her own problems here in the near future because she filed suit against Seth. I don't know how she was able. It sounds like she's doing it pro se. So I think what's going to end up happening is she's just going to be fined so much. I hope she doesn't own anything because there's going to definitely be liens attached to her lifestyle from this point forward. She has every opportunity to drop stuff, but what she's doing is called malicious prosecution. It's abusive process, and it's well defined because we have all the videos of that day, and everything that she stated in her was a lie. So you can't proceed. It's malicious. So she will proceed, but she's going to end up having to pay out the nose. Now she's had every opportunity to withdraw, just like this family that's coming after me over lies. They have every opportunity to withdraw the information and stop this madness. They choose to keep pushing it forward. There are repercussions of this. They have no one to complain but themselves.
Right. Yeah, it's a repetition thing, like they did to Nina, you know, like that Bauer Sox going.
But see, the difference between me and Nina is she wanted her baby back. These people threw me in jail and tried to take away my reputation. I'm not going to be as kind as taking my baby and flying back to New Mexico as quickly as possible. Like I'm going to kick my feet and stay a little while.
Yeah, and you didn't do nothing, you know, but they just use an excuse. They're trying to distraction. Yeah. Well, thanks for talking to me. Hi, everybody. I'll let you go so you can get more calls.
Pam, you have a great day. God bless.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. So I'm going to have you guys hold off on calling in. There's one other call that I just realized we still have not heard from. If Lisa B always is in chat and you would like to call, if you guys could give her just like a minute or two to call in, I'd greatly appreciate that. Lisa B. This is Betty. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Morning, Betty. It's Caroline. I wanted to give you an update today.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead and get it and make it quick. I'm waiting for Lisa B to call in. So go ahead.
Sure. So after I talked with you on the phone last time, I made a point of it to contact Dog and the At Night Agency.
Nice.
And I'm a bit disappointed. I ended up having a recorded information that is getting processed on the sighting. And I'm getting promises written back to me, oh, we're going to get back to you, we're going to get back to you. But the one thing they did say that it made perfect sense to them when I told them I seriously believed Sebastian was injured. Like I said, I saw a child, a 15-year-old, being wheeled down the road. So I'm still in this same area, and I'm really feeling like how far would people walk down the road wheeling a child that size? And I'm thinking within a couple of miles from where I am. I did notice our local police department, they probably had about 15 cars over there recently, like as if they're trying to gather up
And where?
together.
What location was this where you saw the 15 cars?
At our local police station, which I live fairly close to.
Okay.
And I'm in Washington State.
Oh,
so,
okay.
you know.
Oh, the sighting in Washington. That's what you were. Okay. I knew because I've had a few people with the sightings. You're Washington State because I remember asking you about that. And I
it was last September, and I was late giving the information out because I just, I was living with a reckless roommate. So there was no way I felt comfortable trying to process.
Gotcha. Because you're the one I talk about, because when they bring up the Oregon, I keep saying, well, how odd is it that somebody else also potentially saw them in Washington, because Oregon and Washington are just a border away.
Right. And this is an easy place to nest up to because it is an island, and you would be seen no matter any possible way that you would travel on this island. You'd either have to take a ferry boat to get off of it or drive over a bridge. And our police have cameras up and down our highways everywhere that, if it was a good lead, it would be easy for them to, get pictures to back that up to go ahead and follow it up. So
right.
I just wanted to touch bases with you on that to give you the update.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Keep me posted on that, because I know if they say they're going to look into it, they're going to look into it. They're very tenacious.
Emotionally, I feel very pressured by all of it because I started this case like everybody else did on day one.
Yeah.
And I'm not only emotionally invested, I've got a lot of experience behind me in helping out in big cases. And you never dream that you're going to maybe see it with your own eyes from somebody that far away. And, that's what I'm dealing with, my own personal struggle, was that really him?
Right.
So I just hope they follow through. Thank you, dear.
Thank you, love. Keep me posted. Have a great day. God bless.
I will. Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. So give us just a second. Let's give Lisa B. Always an opportunity to call in. She was somebody that was waiting in line to speak on our live show yesterday. And she was there. And the way the boxes are across my screen that you see me on, she was down below the first row of boxes. And I didn't see her down at the bottom and didn't bring her up on panel. Lisa was driving. Oh, okay. She's driving, so she's not going to be able to call in. I gotcha. All right, so we have enough to have one more phone call if somebody would like to call in, 724-252-8070. Maybe later this afternoon, if we see Lisa B. Always, we bring her up here. I just want her to have her voice as well, because she was trying to be heard yesterday, and I just missed her. And I still feel bad 24 hours later. I feel awful. I felt bad when we were leaving the show and I was exiting everybody out, and her name was at the bottom, and I even stopped my outro to apologize to her because I didn't see her. I felt awful. And I still do. It's awful. All right, guys, 724-252-8070. I've got enough for one more phone call before we end the show today. One more phone call. Did she say she called local police? Yes, she did. This is Betty. Who's this and where are you calling from? Hello? Can you hear me? All right, we'll open it up for one more call. One more call. 724-252-8070. Who has tech skills? I don't know. Definitely not me. I used to be very technically inclined, and then I went to Apple products, and now I wouldn't even be. I used to know how to, break into people's files through online extension links and stuff like that to see what kind of. I used to be a little more clever than I am today. I could literally find corporate documents on their own website just by having extension or what I thought the extension link would be. And I found a lot of documents back in my day. And then I went over to Apple products and I forgot how to use my file, going in and putting, because you put in there, the website, and then you put all this other stuff in behind it, and you can actually find corporate documents and stuff like that. It was pretty interesting. I did that back in 20s and 30s when I was working for lawyers and stuff like that. I'd have to go find shit. And that's what I did. Excuse my language. I should be careful. I had to go find stuff. So that's what I did. And I was able to find a lot. So hopefully one day I'll be able to get back to that. I don't know. I don't know. All right, guys. Well, the phones are going silent. So I appreciate you all being here. I hope you guys learned a little bit of something. It really is just to show you guys, there's a lot more evidence that you guys just don't understand that law enforcement does have. And I truly believe this is going to be the evidence that seals the fate for the people responsible for Sebastian's disappearance. I believe I know who those people are. I believe I know exactly what happened to an extent. I believe that there's enough information out there to the extent. Now, the poll was, I did just end the poll. The poll was, let me go back up to the poll. It was, did you know LE can monitor your steps inside your home? 51% said yes. 48% said no. The answer is yes, they can. With the proper search warrants, the proper subpoenas, they can get down to the very steps that you take inside your own private locked away home. When you think nobody is looking, the stuff you have purchased, the stuff that you use in your everyday life that you have become accustomed to, is the nail in your coffin if you ever commit a crime. Because your phones are tracking you, your watches are tracking you, your keys are tracking you, your Siri's tracking you, your Alexa is tracking you, your car, every single thing you possess, down to where you spend your money and fill up your gasoline, is tracked. And God forbid you have a Fitbit or a flow tracker for you women. They will even have even more information on you without having to collect one single trash can or trash bag from your property. You give them TVs, refrigerators, other appliances. Reality wins is absolutely. They will always be, if you are a criminal or doing things unscrupulous, your worst enemy is yourself. Because we as a country have become dependent on these items that provide us the world. Those items track us. Going to Walmart, having a Walmart app tracks you. Having a Wawa's app tracks you. Having a Gmail account tracks you. Have you ever went through your map history on your Google? You probably don't even know Google's tracking you. You have your turn-by-turn directions. That's what's going to save me in my pursuit against these yahoos, because I've got Google Maps that, guess what? I still to this day can go back and pull to show exactly where I was at what time in the state of Tennessee. It shows exactly when I left the state of Florida. It shows the moment I cross over the Florida-Georgia line. So you're being tracked. I'm being tracked. They're being tracked. They can't hide from themselves. And unfortunately, I truly believe while they were sleeping, phones were moving, which is a direct result of them not being asleep, i.e., putting a hole in their big fat alibi. So where were they? You used Life 360. We heard he had Life 360. That tracks your turn-by-turn directions, whether you're using it or not. How about Find My Phone? That lovely app that we all download on our cell phones because we never want to lose our $2,000 phone, right? So what do? We use our phone to track it. So if somebody decides to steal our phone, we can shut it down and know exactly where it's at. Just saying. Who's being tracked? You're being tracked right now. You're on YouTube. Guess what? The government wanted to go in your life. They would know at Monday morning, January 20th at 11:48 Eastern Standard Time, your ass is on YouTube instead of working. I'm calling all y'all's bosses. All right, guys, enjoy your day. Thank you for spending your day with me. God bless each and every person that's watching this and each and every person that's going to be watching this on the replay. I do believe the noose is closing in on the mom and stepfather. Why do I keep pointing them out? Why am I picking on them, right? Why am I picking on them, right? Why is Bullhorn Betty picking on good old mom and stepdad, right? It's because this child's autistic. We've learned so much about this child in the last year. We know that this child's circle is so small. We know that the removal of his ability to have access to online while at their home makes it next to impossible for it to be a third party, an unidentified party, somebody reaching out to him and trying to coax him out of his home. We know that that's been eliminated. We know that there's only two possibilities, him leaving on his own or foul play. The idea that he left on his own with all of his ailments. Let's go through it. Why would Sebastian leave? Right? We have this. For those that we put this together, I still have not erased it off, right? We have, why would he leave? We have a total of 5 issues, 5 items of why he would leave. Abuse, CPS reports, scared for his life, is someone he knew took him somewhere. He didn't want homeschool. Constant embarrassment from his family may have been reasons for him to leave. Why would he not leave? Okay. Why would he not wake up in the middle of the night? One, he's never done it before. He's autistic. They're not spontaneous, right? We as normal people could be spontaneous depending on what our personalities and behaviors are, right? We could be spontaneous. Some of us in our normal thing are not spontaneous people. I can tell you once upon a time in my 20s, I was a spontaneous person, loved life. Now that I'm 45 years old, I like to slow the horses down just a little bit, okay? Not as spontaneous as I once was, right? So why would he not leave? Never left before, no history of elopement, had no shoes, had no jacket, it was cold, has grass allergy, hates bugs, hates dirt, doesn't like dirty water, left all his devices at home, took no clothes or personal items with him, had no food or other nourishment, had no money, doesn't like the dark, doesn't like loud noises, did not take his medication. Person that's used to taking his medication every single day of their life would take his medication with him because his brain tells him, I have to wake up tomorrow and take my medication. So even if he didn't take anything else, he would take his medication with him. Medication's still at home. Outside of his normal routines, he left his beloved pets, nowhere to sleep, fear of strangers, and had no one to help him. So this eliminates in my mind, conclusively, of him walking out of the home on his own. So that leaves in my brain foul play. So if I believe that this child disappeared from foul play, who am I going to look at? Everybody close to this child in his inner circle. And the easy thing I can say is his father, his biological father, was by far the easiest to clear. Why? Seth has no family in the area, had only been there for a year, doesn't, less than a year by the time his son disappeared, right? So he has nobody to lean on for help. So there's no, he doesn't have his entire family here that we had to look at. We only had to look at Seth. He doesn't know anybody. But on the flip side, the mom and stepfather have family here, have people. So those would have been the sphere of influence around that child. Okay? Those were the only sphere of influence around that child that child had, because he had no friends. Friends didn't come over to stay the night with him. He didn't regularly speak to him on the phone. He didn't go outside to play with them. The neighbors state that they knew that a child lived in that home that was disabled, but never saw him. So that limits the number of people that have motive, means, and opportunity. Right, Orange Wedge? So those are the only people I'm going to be focusing on. And guess what? They're all part of one side of the family. The stepfathers. The mom has no family here. The mom has no friends here. So the mom, the biological mom, and the biological dad have no one in the state of Tennessee. So that's why I focus on them. Why? Because they're the most likely. Okay? That's why. They are the most likely. I don't make the rules. I don't create the statistics. I only preview them and speak them to you and show you guys all this stuff, because I'm building my side of the case for our investigative reporting purposes. And here on our side, we see this crystal clear. So I understand a lot of people have their own opinions about this case, and we welcome those opinions. A lot of those opinions on the other side are not really debatable, right? It's really all they want to do is insult, mock, and stuff like that, which tells me that they have no evidence to support their findings. If they believe the mom and stepdad have nothing to do with it, they've got not one scintilla of information or evidence that support that they didn't do it. We do. They were the last ones to see this child. We are always looking in any case we cover, whether it's a missing child, whether it's a deceased person, we're always looking for the person that last saw them and whether they have injuries on them. Guess what? We have a mom that last saw him and a stepfather that has injuries on him. Enough said. And no explanation of either. 328 days this child has been missing. We want to know where Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is, but please don't ever think law enforcement does not have enough evidence. The evidence that is going to be the death, not literally, right? Figuratively speaking, the nail in the coffin, so to speak, for the mom and stepdad are themselves. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed. We're going to come back and keep touching on this stuff because I really think it's really, really interesting. Godparents, does Seth have the godparents of Sebastian nearby? No, I think the godparents are Mr. and Mrs. Taco. And I'm pretty sure they don't live in the same state, but I could be wrong. I'm not that invested in them because they had as far as the godparents, from my understanding, nothing. So I could be wrong about that. Pretty hate machine. I don't know. But you might, if you find something, send it to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I'm happy to discuss it. But my understanding is the godparents, I don't know if they live in the state of Tennessee. I think they live in a different state, but I could be wrong. His glasses are are a personal item. Yeah, but personal items, I'm talking about clothes, his schoolwork, stuff that he's going to have to do in his mind. You got to remember he's autistic. So he thinks a little differently. If he knows he needs something to be completed, he knows he needs to complete that something. He completes that something. If every day at 7:00 he brushes his teeth, and that's his pattern and his behavior, every day at 7:00 he brushes his teeth. Why would he leave his toothbrush at home? He knows he's going to have to wake up and brush his teeth the next morning. You see what I'm saying? It's a little different. We're not dealing with a Bullhorn Betty. I got mad and I ran away from home. We're dealing with an autistic child, not a one that wants to buck authority, right? I ran away because I wanted to buck authority. Screw mom, screw dad. I do what I want, when I want, how I want, right? That's the normal way of thinking. Autistic children don't think like that, okay? And that's what I've learned through this process. If there's nothing more that I've learned through this case is that autistic children just think and behave differently than we do. You know, they're very smart, they're very bright, but they're very schedule oriented. So they keep to their routines and their schedules because that's what makes them thrive so well. If they know that at 7 o'clock, they got to get up and brush their teeth every day at 7 o'clock, they're going to get up and brush their teeth. It's just something about them. It's the behavior. It's that repetition. It's that routine, that schedule. And that is what professionals say that you have to have when you're dealing with a child on the spectrum, is that rigorous routine and schedule. So there's a lot of things that he didn't take that would have been a part of his regular routine and schedule that he would have known he had to have before leaving that house, and he didn't take any of it. That is a red flag to me. All right, guys, thank you so much. God bless each and every one of you. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. But more importantly, say it with me. Be kind to one another. Guys, go make it a great Monday. God bless you. And we'll see you back here later this evening or later this afternoon.